Development Agency of April 8th, 2008. Please stand for the pledge and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads. Lord, give us the wisdom and the knowledge to make some intelligent decisions tonight for the citizens of Newman. Thank you.
Thank you, Ted. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Katie? Present. Councilmember Kelly?
Present.
Councilmember Krinkball? Mayor Pro Tem Martina?
Present.
Mayor Fantasia?
Present. We have no, is there any declaration of conflicts of interest this evening? Seeing none, we have no ceremonial matters. At this time, I'd like to announce that we had a little meeting before, closed session, about our police chief. And we are happy to announce that we've hired a former Modesto Police Lieutenant, Adam McGill. He will be joining us on April 22nd. We will be having a little meet and greet at the West Side Theater, beginning at 3 o'clock, to introduce him to the community. And we'll have a swearing-in ceremony, and he will be on the job that evening, April 22nd. Adam was in Modesto in the San Luis County for about 16 years, and he moved back to Maine, and he's coming back out to be our chief, and we're very excited. Looking forward to having him with us. Anything you want to add, Mike? Or? Okay. Items from the public, non-agenda items. Does anybody have anything like to comment on that is not on the post agenda? Kid.
Council members, my name is Ken Maddenwall. I live at 612 Waxwing Lane. As we talked about before, I'd like to see the city upgrade the photographs in the city hall. They're quite out of date, and my thought was to put the mayors, all the ex-mayors on one side and then the current council on another side, and do it that way. And then when people come in, they can see who the city council is. Right now, they don't have any idea except Bob Martina. And so that was just something I noticed in the city hall.
Appreciate that, Ken. You made this comment to me the other day.
Ken,
and
do you realize that I'm going to look older?
Me too. Ken didn't like my hippie picture from, 2000 or something like that. But yeah, it'd probably be a good idea to take some new pictures, Michael. And just on, it was brought to my attention that we're the only city in San Luis County who don't have pictures of the council on the website too. So maybe we want to do a little group picture and, put our pictures on there too. Might be kind of nice.
Do you think that'll hurt my protective program?
Well, we might have to put another face on you here. Witness protection program?
Yeah, who is that?
It's in witness protection.
Witness
program.
protection.
Exactly.
I
Witness
couldn't even
protection.
say it. I'm chewing gum.
They really brainwash you on that deal.
Oh.
Is there any other non-agenda items?
My name is Alessandro Gutierrez. I live at 1041 Grackle Court. Mine is more questions of the code enforcement officer. I've had problems with him. He's been in my back. I don't know what he can do. I mean, he just went through my backyard, took photos, came back with a cleanup crew. They took all my recyclables is what they did. And I don't know what I can do about it. I mean, is there anything I can do about it?
I'm sure that if you'd like to meet with the chief there and he could get all your information, I'm sure he would be happy to follow up and find out exactly what happened.
Okay. Well, who's the chief?
Chief right there. Yes.
Thank you very much. Any other non-agenda items? See none, we'll move on to the consent calendar. Item A, waive all readings of ordinances and resolutions except by title. B, approval of warrants and approval of minutes of the March 25th, 2008 regular meeting.
I would move to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item 9, public hearing. We have one this evening. Adopt resolution number 2008, next to number, a resolution declaring the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4, Public Works.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. The issue you have before you is a code enforcement issue. As stated in the staff report, 26 abatement notice letters were sent to, 27 letters were sent out to property owners. And of those, 12 did not comply. I've distributed a list of those who did not to you prior to the beginning of tonight's meeting. Tonight's meeting allows the property owners, it informs them about the procedures option and the right to object at tonight's public hearing. Staff recommendation is that you declare the existence of a public nuisance under ordinance number 95-4. Any questions?
Questions for Ernie? Okay, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Would anybody like to comment on these abatements? Seeing no one, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring it back to the council.
I so move that we adopt resolution number 2008, next number, declaring the existence of a public nuisance and ordinance number 95-4.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. On to regular business, item A, report on relocation of water line for underground utility district number 5 and bid award.
Mr. Mayor, council members, at the regular meeting of January 8th, the Newman City Council approved and authorized the relocation of the water line in the Plaza parking lot alley due to conflicts with Rule 20A utility underground construction work. PG&E and AT&T need that minimum clear horizontal distance of 5 feet between their utilities and any wet utilities. The water line relocation was selected as the best alternative and resolution for the insufficient space for this requirement. Sealed bids were solicited for the referenced work by our city engineers, Boyle Engineering. And attached to this report, you have a bid summary that was submitted by Boyle Engineering staff. In it, they list all the bidders in ascending order, beginning with Mid-Cal Pipelines and Utilities of Merced from $66,500, all the way to Preston Pipelines from Milpitas, California for $154,920. In the last two columns on there that you notice on this abstract is the engineer's estimate for the work, which is at $103,700. Also included with your report, there is a letter of recommendation from our city engineer, Gary Rogers, for the project bid award. Based on this, it is staff's recommendation that you award the Plaza Project waterline replacement bid to Mid-Cal Pipelines and Utilities Incorporated of Merced for $66,500. Any questions?
This just goes to show that things are so slow on to get
Yes, it
all these
does.
people to bid, because
Do
a
anything.
couple years ago, we couldn't even get anybody to bid any projects here,
We
so-
could not.
which is good. Good for us, bad for the builders and people that do this kind of work, but. Any other questions for Ernie? If not, some direction?
I make a motion that we accept the relocation of what's the name of the company? I apologize here.
Mid-Cal Pack.
Mid-Cal Pipelines and Utilities of Merced, and accept their bid.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you
Thank
very
Thanks,
much.
Ernie.
The next item, I did not realize, I have a conflict with that because it's that same item that was on last 2 weeks' meeting about Hardin Road, so I will step in the back and let Bob take care of that.
You gone? It's good. Please go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and council members. On March 25th, here at council, we held a public hearing, the first reading of ordinance 2008, next to number, for the Valley Apartments project, approving a zone change from R2 to PD. As required, we must have a second reading of said ordinance. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
No question? No questions from the council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steph.
I move to approve second reading and adoption of ordinance number 2008, next in number, an ordinance approving zone change number 2007-02 Hardin Road.
I second it.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I guess we can bring it back in.
Thank you, Bob.
You're welcome.
Item C, bid award for elevator at the City of Newman Museum.
Thank you, Mayor. Within this year's, the 2007-2008 redevelopment agency budget, there was a bid for the installation of a elevator handicap accessibility within our historical museum across the street on Main Street, the old Carnegie Library there. The historical museum or historical society went out and solicited bids from elevators installers, and what you have today is a copy of that. I do need to make a change here because the original bid was submitted in February. We went back and double checked to make sure that was a good bid due to fuel cost and actually the installation of 2 doors that are self-closer and electrical strike. So what happens when the elevator goes up, the door automatically closes so nobody walks in there and goes down the shaft. That was inadvertently left out of the first bid. So the new bid for the same company is $21,195, not the $16,578.50 as indicated in the original staff report. So with that, we are asking that you move forward. At this time, the city is moving through the process of securing bids for the preparation of that area. These gentlemen come in and install the elevator, the wheelchair lift, handicap accessibility lift only. So we need to get a local contractor in to prepare the area for the lift to be installed. So Public Works staff is currently working on that bid process right now. This elevator takes about 8 weeks to arrive. We still have time to do that bid process, get the work done before it gets here. So,
Which it looks like even with the added cost of the elevator, we should be able to finish this whole project way under budget, huh?
we anticipate that it will be under the originally amount budgeted, which was $65,000.
Looks good.
So with
Questions?
that, tonight we're asking that you, again, accept this bid and award it to CNE, Certified Maintenance Company. We do have some
Questions?
pictures here if you're interested in seeing any here. Oh, you do have copies.
We've got, yeah.
The only thing
Mary,
I-
would you like to comment on anything? Or Tom?
Mary Moore, President of the Newman Historical Society. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. We have a lot of older people, I'm getting into that range too, that are having a hard time with the steps. All of the steps, we thought first of a chair that went from the inside, but the stairs going to that are just as steep. And we hate to deface our building. It was the first museum and the first library in Stanislaus County. It was a Carnegie built in 1920. And the elevator on the outside would deface the brick. So what we plan on doing is coming from the bottom of the basement and going up to the top and coming out the closet that we have up there, instead of coming through the building. Does anybody have any questions?
Mary, the only question I have is that, do the schools, I know you have tours through there, don't you?
Yes, I have one coming in tomorrow morning, and I have one coming in next Wednesday also. And we do have smaller children. These are junior high.
I still remember the night that you guys allowed me to come in and sit in that meeting, and that was, I was jealous, to be honest, because everyone knew everyone and everything else, but.
You can join anytime.
I appreciate that. I would love to see a course required for the elementary school, that every child in Newman knows the history of Newman. I mean, make it a 2-week course or whatever, but tour the library or the museum. I think it would be fantastic. I was shocked. It was a heck of a history.
It's very interesting. I didn't know a lot of it, too. Newman actually started out where the go-kart track is at Hills Ferry Road, and it came in when the railroad came in 1888. So it was something that I had never pursued. I'd been in the museum as a little girl because I was born and raised here, but I had never really paid attention to the city of Newman. But the third grade class, the teachers in the third grade are bringing in their children every year. I've had
Okay.
them come in. So, and this is a new one that coming in with junior high. I don't know if it's a special ed or who it is. Mary Beth Moorhead called and made appointments for this Wednesday and for next Wednesday, and we will take them through. And what I'm trying to do is take them through Hills Ferry, moving into Newman with the railroad. So, but it is very interesting, and anybody that would like to come in and join us, I would love to have you.
Excellent.
Any other questions?
Yeah, Mary, I had one question. Do you know on this elevator how it's going to be monitored as far as making sure that people don't use it that truly shouldn't be using it?
I don't know exactly what we're going to do, but it cannot be used for anything other than handicap. This gentleman, Carl, told us that make sure you do not let anyone use it for storage going up or down. Yeah. He said one school in Bakersfield, California, did that, and it happened to be that the state gentleman was in there, and they were fined $75,000. So it's only for handicapped people that cannot walk up and down those stairs or wheelchair.
Okay.
So we will not use it for anything other than that.
Thank you, Mary.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you very much.
If there's no further questions, some direction?
Make a motion that we award the bid for the elevator at the City of Newman Museum.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item D, adopt resolution number 2008, next to number, a resolution reserving and setting aside RDA housing funds.
Thank you, Chairman of the board. This redevelopment agency in 2007 approved our 5-year implementation plan in 2007 to go through 2012. The plan also included Newman's housing requirement according to California redevelopment law. As agency board members, I'm sure you're aware that we set aside 20% of our funds for low and moderate housing. Part of the implementation plan indicated that we were required to do a minimum of 45 affordable housing units to be, and those need to be conducted prior to the 08-09 year completed. By going through this process, and setting aside the $300,000 that we're recommending, the city will get 30 credits for 35 units. And then that's going to make us just a little bit short, but we're also working with the Housing Authority right now, of which we do not have covenants that conform to California redevelopment law, but they're willing to give us those. So it's our belief that by the end of 08-09, we will be meeting our state requirement of the 45 units. So what we're doing today is actually proposing a resolution which reserves and sets aside $300,000 for the Corporation for Better Housing, also known as 751 Driscoll Avenue. That's the affordable housing complex that this group approved behind the car wash. It's a 72 unit complex. We are actually finalizing the details of a loan agreement with the corporation right now, and unfortunately we couldn't get that done before this meeting. So they're getting ready to submit their application to TCAC, which is Tax Credit Allocation Committee, and trying to get their funding in place in order to construct that project. So with that, we are asking you to approve this resolution, which would hereby reserve and set aside RDA housing funds for this particular project. With that, I can answer any questions that you may have.
Questions?
Mike, it means that we're only 10 units away from having the total 45, is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
So we have
By the 08-09 year, we still have to go from 09-10 all the way to 2012. There's additional units that are going to come on, but
Correct.
I'm going to work and I'll give you an update on that as we go through and start securing the Valley Manor complex that's on Driscoll, as well as the Housing Authority units that are on Merced, and then we're going to go back to self-help and see what we can get from them as well and get those in there. So therefore, we want to show the state that we are providing affordable housing within our community, and we deserve to get those credits. So,
Thank you, Michael.
Any further questions? Not some direction then?
I so move that we adopt Resolution 2008, next number, reserving and setting aside low and moderate house funds for future secured loans and affordable housing agreement.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much. Item E, report on proposed projects within Stancog Transportation Tax Expenditure Plan.
Thank you. Mayor, as a member of the Stancog Policy Board, you're familiar with how we were moving forward. But in February of this year, this council did endorse Stancog moving forward with a half-cent transportation tax that would be put on the November ballot. As part of that, there's an expenditure plan that goes along with it. Stancog has asked the community, each of the communities, to identify some capital projects in there that would move forward as part of the transportation tax program. And we've provided you a list of those particular projects. And in working through staff, we've come up with the following projects. The completion of the right-of-way improvements, and that would be basically from F&A out to Canal School Road. If you go out there, basically you got 2 travel lanes, you got no shoulders, no curbs and gutters, and that would go along with that. That's also in our capital improvement program. The reconstruction of L Street from Merced to Inyo, that's not even an overlay, that's a complete reconstruction. Recently, this council and redevelopment agency spent funds to do M Street, and it looks very nice. I think if we go ahead and do L Street as part of this, if this funding comes through. The installation of a traffic signal on Highway 33 in Inyo's traffic studies are starting to show that the level of service at peak hours of the day is at that level of service C, which is the last standard by which we want to have our level of service. Anytime it falls below the level of service C, we're indicating that we want to improve upon that. A traffic light would improve upon that. I know this council in the past has made some decisions which allow that to go forward, and those include when the property was sold to Mr. Bigelow, there was a reservation of some of the lands for a turn lane and the like, so that would go forward. There's about $300,000 that we're programming in there. Safe routes to schools, construct a network of sidewalks, bike routes, and other improvements. It's approximately $300,000 that we've put into that. Again, safe routes to schools, we don't really need to build too much on there other than to say that, this council and through the general plan process has endorsed a network of trails, bicycle paths, and sidewalks that allow for children to safely access their schools and not have conflicts to minimize conflicts with vehicles. We would continue on upon that program.
Mike, just real quick, under that portion of the safe routes, would that also include like safety crosswalks and lighting and those kinds of issues? Such as, the lighted crosswalks. And I've always thought that, and I know there's OTS grants funding that you can apply for as well, but I'd like to see if there's a way that we could fund under that portion, under the safe routes to schools, some of the major intersections that kids travel mostly from YOLO, crossing T Street, and a large amount of kids that travel across Highway 33. I don't know if those can be applied there as well.
Yeah, there are a few key intersections that you are indicating that are cross major roads. T Street is one of them where you get a lot of vehicular traffic, and there's a large vehicular pedestrian interface that goes on there. And yes, we could use a lot of the leverage of that $300,000 for matching funds for federal grants. As we'll also talk about that a little bit.
Could we see? Yeah, could we look into that? Yes. I think it's important.
Yes. And just moving on a little bit, the bulk of the monies, and again the council always retains flexibility as we move forward, but the bulk of the monies is to improve and maintain our local roads. That's about $4 million. What that would allow is the city to systematically improve the pavement management system, or basically the roads, potholes, improvements, cracks, overlays, slurry seals, those types of programs within the city, and systematically repave the entire city for about $4 million is what we would hope. Local match, we've indicated about $1 million for local match projects. Again, that goes into and continues to build upon what Councilman Caton was talking about. Lots of times when you access a grant, the matching amount can be anywhere from 10% to 50%. But if you're matching that at a 10% level and you have $1 million, you're leveraging that $1 million up to $10 million. If it's a 50% grant, you're leveraging your $1 million into $2 million. So we're setting aside monies there that allow us to be competitive and go after these competitive grants in order to do lighted crosswalks or other types of programs that are necessary to serve the residents of our community. And then lastly, there's about $500,000 which we put into flexible spending, and that's allow the council again to remain flexible. And this is a 20-year expenditure plan. No one really knows what's going to happen in 5 years from now or 10 years from now, so you always want to have a contingency fund. There's $500,000 here that kind of acts as a contingency fund, if you will, and allows you to do some flexible spending and do another project that may boil up to the surface. That at this point in time, none of us have the foresight to indicate, wow, we really need to get on that particular project right now. So with that, to take any comments that you have.
Questions, comments? Just one comment I would have would be under flexible spending. I don't know if everybody's been paying attention. The seniors were a little bit out of shape with the Stancog board because something specific wasn't put on there for the senior transit or, rides to doctors or whatever. But every city under, for example, flexible spending, I hope would step up and have a meeting if this thing passes with the seniors and see if there's something else that could be done. If they need a little extra help with the dial-a-ride or start, or if they're not be able to get to some doctors or something, that's something that maybe we could look at down the road.
Sure. Also, the County Board of Supervisors just met with a contingency of senior representatives, and there's a process by which it goes, there's LTF funds, local transportation funds, which really go towards transit and those types of services. Well, there's what's called the unmet transit needs, which in case the communities come out and say what their needs are for transits and which ones aren't being met. That's another process by which seniors can access funds to improve their transportation network, to allow them to access, Turlock or Modesto or the like. So.
Sounds good. Any other questions? Okay. Moving on, item F, report from Supervisor DeMartini.
Thank you, Mayor Benazia, council members. I just have a couple of short things tonight. One of them, since you were talking about the half-cent sales tax, the county, I think, has already contacted the city of Newman about a joint powers agreement, JPA, with the city of Newman, city of Turlock, and city of Patterson to come up with a plan for the southern route for connection between Highway 99 and Highway 5. We will form this reasonably soon. We have probably two options, since the route primarily is going to be West Main, is if it, as it comes up from Turlock, whether it turns off to the south to Fink Road, or what Patterson has proposed, to move it northerly to Zacharias Road and connect to Highway 5 that way. We already have a joint JPA on the northern corridor between Oakdale and Salida, so we have to form this. Should this tax pass, we need to have a plan in place of just kind of what direction that we want to go. This will take a while to actually hammer out, but we should get started on it. And I believe the CEO's office has put in calls to all three of the cities. You'll be hearing more about it later. One short update I have on the animal shelter. The options for the animal shelter was brought before the Animal Advisory Board last week, As you know, we did a needs assessment last year, and we've come up with 2 different plans on the animal shelter to improve the conditions. One of the options was to completely tear down everything that we have and start over again and build everything new. And the other option was to reuse whatever we could from the existing buildings, refurbish them, and then build new buildings as needed. That was the option that was chosen. It saved about $2 million. As you know, the animal shelter was built in 1972 when things were a lot different then. It was really the dog pound is really what it was called. And that's where animals were just rounded up, hardly survived there until the next day, and they were all euthanized. In today's world, it's different with the state laws. We have to keep the animals for several days, and we have put a great emphasis on adoption. So the animals are held much longer. And the construction of the original shelter was very conducive to holding diseases and bacteria. It's just almost impossible to disinfect the thing and keep diseases out. So the whole construction materials were bad. And things are different now. The medical facility needs to be built for our veterinarian, which we've just hired. At present, we're just using a trailer as a medical facility, which is hardly adequate. The overcrowding and disease is, a problem in the shelter. And a new adoption center is part of the plans too, plus new kennels. The cost estimate is about $11 million for the entire facility, and shared between the cities and the county. Newman's share of that would be 1.3%. Is the way it's written already. So it will be going to the Board of Supervisors to pick one of the options probably in 2 or 3 weeks, and then it will go out to bid. So that's where we're at with it. We are moving along. I know it's taken a long time, but as you know, capital projects do take a lot of planning before they get off the ground.
Thank you, Jim. Item 11, items from the city manager and staff.
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, your finance director, myself, and the police chief went and saw the governor today. Gave a little presentation in Modesto. Police chiefs were there, city council members were there, a few city managers were there. So really talking about budget reform was his main topic, and the need to limit spending at the state level. So we are going to announce that we are getting in tomorrow. Will be the final interviews for 3 CSO candidates. Again, as you recall, our CSO officer Edgar Lopez will be going to the academy around the middle of July. So this will give us an opportunity to have him train the next CSO for a little while before he has to move on. Keep in mind that April 26th, take this from the chief off his list, is a crab feed. Police Officers
Happen to have
Association.
a sign here.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
So if you need tickets, contact Randy Uliberry. And let me get his personal cell number for you. The police department is currently hiring 1 police officer. So if there's any candidates out there, I know they're getting a interview pool together. Our website is updated. We continually try to get additional information on there. There is now a scrolling news brief type thing on the right-hand side. So if you keep going back and forth to that, at least every other week, there should be new information available to you. Please take a look at that. Also, we continue to give our public educational channel, education and government channel, new slides. And these are slides dealing with soccer, cleanup, or spring cleanup, which is going on right now through Saturday. We try to keep them updated with new slides. So if you haven't had an opportunity to take a look at that, please do, and give us your feedback on what you think of the slides. So with that, I can answer any questions that the council may have.
Are you sure of that? You can answer any question.
No.
Depends what they are.
If not, I'll get the chief up here and he'll answer it.
Michael, do we have our banner yet?
our band. We have our sign.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
Hit it.
Presentation?
Hit
Do
it.
There it is.
That's a long distance.
boy,
view.
you're right on top of it.
That's a long distance one and
And there's up close.
All right.
future home of Newman Aquatic Center.
What can I say?
There it is.
There were people who thought it was going to be built over at the high school.
Oh,
Honest to God, they were
high school?
betting on it. And I said, no. So
Read the
thank
paper,
God
huh?
the sign's up now.
the
at
sign
least
is
they-
up. And actually, want to thank our Public Works Director Ernie Garza and his crew for getting that sign up and out there. We said it's set back a little bit. This is actually the intersection where Merced comes into Inyo and Inyo Upper Hoyer
Yep.
area there. And this is the former Henry Hill property. Howard
B.
Hill.
Hill.
Henry, that's Goodfellows County. Howard Hill property, which we were able to secure. And Mr. Hill was a former mayor within our community, so we're glad to have that up. That it is set back off a little bit to try to keep the pedestrians from damaging the sign.
Very good. Looks great.
Thank you.
Well, I'm impressed. That was a quick answer for Bob, huh?
Yeah, that was a quick answer. And
Well, we got together and we planned
That was
that.
good planning. I like that.
Mike Myers on these things.
Any other questions for Michael? Thank you, Michael. Any other staff reports this evening?
I just have one quick informational item. We're also on the Hill House, on the building. We're at the present time drawing up some wording so that we can solicit for some sealed bids to see if somebody will buy the house and move it out of there. So that's what we're working on at the present time.
Sounds good. Any other staff reports?
I'm gonna still rant as riveting reports.
Oh, this is a real staff report.
Riveting.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you.
I'm sorry.
So that's
Hot off the presses.
These books that I handed out to you is a project that Miss Alicia Torres took charge of from our Mommy and Me class. She took the pictures. She and we formatted them several times due to computer problems and glitches. And we finally were able to make this book for all the participants in the Mommy and Me class. And we showed them to them today and told them, sorry, we had to borrow them for tonight. They can have them tomorrow. They were very disappointed. They were wanting to take them home. And
Very nice.
I believe last meeting I discussed bringing a tennis program here to Newman with Dr. Lance Turner. We met with Dr. Foss from the school district, Michael and myself, and we are going to do it in 2 phases. They're going to bring the first one next Monday to the after-school programs for the 3 elementary schools in the area. And the after-school program in person, supervisor, because after the assembly part, it goes into a camp. And the after-school program is going to pay for half of each student's camp. After the camp, they are instructed to then go to the recreation department and sign up for lessons, and lessons will be $5 to $6 per hour. And those will be held at the high school. And usually we do arts and crafts in the summer, and we're looking at reformatting this year into more of a fitness program and a community service program, and maybe opening it up to older children as well that want to be fit in mind and body. And that's all we have.
Great.
Terry, where are you getting the balls?
I'm sorry?
Where are you getting the balls, the tennis balls?
The instructor,
They're going to supply all
they
that?
supply them. They're actually the ones that they do for the camp and the assembly are big foam Nerf type balls. And
Oh,
they're big rackets,
okay.
so nobody gets hurt. They bring portable nets to the schools.
Gotcha.
It's all self-contained.
Excellent.
These gentlemen actually have deals with Wilson and part of the program is, I believe, I'm not sure if it's the after-school one or the summer one, but for $25 you get like a month's worth of lessons if you're age 4 through 7, and they'll start them as early as 4. Age 4 through 7, you get half an hour worth of lessons once a week for 4 weeks, and a racket for something like $25. and then they'll continue on. And the older ones, they get 1 hour of lessons once a week for 4 weeks. For I think we're looking around that $35 to $40 range.
I believe it's $25 for the lower and $30 for the older, but it's only a half hour twice a week for 1 week. So it's basically an hour or 2 hours of instruction, but it does include the racket, which is it's an actual Wilson tennis racket.
Pretty good.
So then they have their racket to move on to the lessons.
How are the courts? I've never played there, but
Well, the after school program takes places at the school.
At the
They
school
have
itself.
portable.
Yeah.
They have portable nets that are going to take
Gotcha.
place. But the one thing I wanted to add after Terry concluded was these gentlemen have also worked with resurfacing companies. They indicated to us they thought that through a joint venture between their nonprofit, the city, USTA, and the school district, that they could possibly get those resurfaced for about $10,000.
excellent.
So that would create new tennis surface over there at the high school.
Then the next thing we talk about are lights.
There are
We
lights.
have lights.
Oh, honest to God, you can.
You don't get out after dark, or
No, I don't.
It's already lit up. They already have lights there, so we need.
So there are lights. So you
Oh,
can,
yeah.
do you turn them on or do you have to?
Yeah, there's
I
like
believe
a
he
switch.
said they're
or-
on until about 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I don't.
I think it's some sort of a timer type thing or something. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good.
Terry, are there any backstops for kids to hit against, or is that something that we don't have in Newman?
For the
For
tennis,
playing tennis, backstops they're excellent for practicing.
not any really wood.
They have
wood
they have
ones.
backstops on the westernmost court at the high school only, right now. So
He even, what they're doing because he was asking the school when he was working with them as well, for just the side of a building. They're holding the first one, they're going to bus all the children over to Hunt for the first after-school program. And he asked for a building, and they're gonna use the blacktop court there with the back of the gym where they can hit the ball across and against too. And they said they can do it inside a gym too, or any kind of room. Everything is portable and. they can
I'm just
play.
thinking you get these kids at one level, and then you want to take them to the next level, and what you really need is the tennis courts, and that's what you really need. I mean, it's wonderful to have a program like that, but these kids, I'd like to see them develop into, a decent tennis player.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. No handouts, Chief? Or oh,
Mayor, members of the City Council, just one quick item, and that is, I'd like to personally thank the community and its benevolence in the donations that we're receiving for the K-9 program. We've received, again, some generous donations from the community. I greatly appreciate it. Yes, our crab feed is coming up on April 26th. Ticket sales are going great, and it's going to be a fantastic event. We're going to have a silent auction, live auction, a lot of entertainment. So it's going to be a good community event. Really looking forward to it. And it's going to a fantastic program. Also, our K-9 officers and our K-9s will start their training next week. It'll be a 2-week training course. And as a matter of fact, if all goes well, they'll graduate on Friday, the day before the crab feed. And they'll be deployed at the end of the month, 1st of May. So it's really an exciting time. We're also in the process of getting the equipment we need to change over one of our cars to make it the K-9 vehicle. We just ordered the equipment today. Should be here next week and installed the week after. So the vehicles should be ready at the same time the K-9s are finishing their training. So a lot of things are happening. It's very exciting, and I just want to share that with you. Thanks. And I'd be happy to answer any questions about anything you may have.
questions?
Now, had any audits lately? Modesto doesn't call them audits, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Something, I'm laughing in there. But.
I will be happy to report at the next council meeting the upcoming audits that we have planned.
Thank you.
Chief, are we down a position?
Yes, we're down one position. We're down to one position for Edgar, who's going to the academy in July, and we just had a situation where an officer failed to pass probation, so we're down that position also. So that's why the city manager put out the notice that we are hiring And please submit your applications for the Newman Police Department. It's an excellent opportunity. Thank you.
And council, just so you know, those applications are available online.
Any other staff reports? None? Everybody's shaking their head no, so. Items from the city council members. Ed?
It's great timing, I guess, in reference to our aquatic center and the new sign. Hopefully, we'll be able to make Western City Magazine with our new aquatic center.
Oh, yes, that was a nice article.
Lompoc had a nice article about their aquatic center, and I'm sure ours will be just as nice.
That's it. Thank you, Ed. Ted?
Nope,
Nothing?
not tonight.
Bob?
I have nothing, Mayor.
Nothing? I just wanted to share a funny situation that happened. Speaking of the canine crab feed, the Newman Fun Run is going to be for the canine unit, so, we wrote on there, proceeds to benefit Newman Canine Program. Well, I got a call from somebody today saying canine was spelled wrong. So I get the flyer out real quick, and I'm looking, and boy, it sure looks right. I Google it, and that's right. And we spelled out canine. He was meaning we should have put K9, like on this one. So I was all confused. I was all worried. I had all these flyers out. And come to find out, he just thought that maybe it should have been like this one, K9, but we spelled it out, so everything was good. Didn't have to recall the flyers and redo them again, because I had mailed out like a couple hundred already to car people and bike people, so I was all worried there for a while, but. And that's all I had, and we're canceling our closed session this evening, so with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second?
Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. Thank you.